Howdy y'all, it's Kate from The Lifestyle Lady. How are you? How are you doing today? Hope your week's going well. I'm recovering from a cold, so I'm a little bit under the weather. Apologies for my kind of appearance and if I sound a little nasally. But today was my last opportunity to record a video I thought might be interesting for you, which was about another toddler related video about traveling with toddlers and hand luggage basically. And although this generally applies to flying, it can apply to anything, car journeys, trains, you name it, whatever your thing is, ships, cruising, whatever. So I don't consider to be an expert in very many things, but I do feel like I've had a lot of experience traveling both domestically and internationally, flying with an infant and now a toddler. And I've done predominantly the vast majority of that alone with her. I'm just talking about my experiences and the things and the processes and the organisation that I have that works and that I think keeps a toddler entertained, because trust me, travelling with a toddler is much more difficult than an infant. So here goes. I'm going to show you what I do and what works for us, and if you can take any of the tips along with you, great. And I sort of thought with the holiday season coming up, with Thanksgiving and with Christmas, it might be interesting for you, and if I can help, great. So first and foremost, I follow that mantra that my parents taught me: what you bring, you carry. Well, it's a little tough on a nearly 3-year-old, but I mean to go on, and I try and have that idea. So I do so with a really good backpack, and this is hers. This is Little L's, and this one in particular is from Pottery Barn. If you were thinking about purchasing a Pottery Barn rucksack, backpack, however you call it, they're fantastic. They do a range of styles, colours, designs, sizes, depending on the age of the little one. This is not their smallest backpack, and it's certainly not the largest. I think it's like their pre-K or kindergarten size, but it's perfect for her. It fits her little back. It's a little heavy with everything in it at the moment, so I'll probably remove an item or two and place it into my hand luggage. But for her, it's great, and she likes the independence of thinking that she's carrying what works for her. Now, I have found that a backpack works well. I know that some people like their children to drag things. I know that trunkies are very popular. I haven't tried one of those. They're difficult to source here in the US and the UK. They're a crazy phenomenon. But this is working for us at the moment. So I think generally most things I'm talking about are not really girl specific. They'd work for either sex. So first and foremost, what's great about this backpack: durability. It's a pretty design, she likes to carry it. And secondly, it has lots of pockets that are accessible, because when you're traveling, the first thing you think about is the actual plane journey. Well, you know, there's the journey to the plane and the journey from the plane to where you need to go, to the destination. And trust me, queuing or in line, you need to be able to grab things easily and quickly. So pockets are great. But first I want to talk about one of these. If you've had an infant, you'll know what these are. These are like nappy sacks or diaper sacks, depending on your nationality. They pull along, they're on a puller. You can basically wind that back in, and I'll do that later. But these are great. These bags are fantastic. They're great for obviously changing diapers, but if you're in my situation where you're, virtually potty trained, you do have the odd accident, they're great for dirty clothes, they're great for trash, rubbish, they're great for anything and everything, food, little as a plastic bag if you've purchased some food in the airport that you want to take on board, lots of great things. So I always have one of these attached to her bag. I have one in my car too, which is great. And then I always carry in the little top pocket, sorry, it's difficult for me to show you, in the top pocket here, I always carry another spare roll, which is here, and also some tissues, because crikey, you never have tissues when you need them. And I work on that theory of like a brownie guide, being prepared. And then hopefully the worst things that can happen may not if you're prepared. So in the side pockets, I always have some to-go Lysol wipes, disinfectant wipes. Now before you will go, this is essential for me. Let me tell you, planes are filthy places. If you think about how quickly a plane is changed over from one place to another and how infrequently they get cleaned, because they're always in transport. So I'm always in there wiping down the tray, trying my best to keep us healthy. These things happen. This is an airborne. Yes, you might get the odd steward or stewardess making the odd sarcastic comment, but hey, how often are they cleaned? They're not. The other thing I do is I tend to carry hand sanitizing wipes, and the same with these. I carry them in a wipe form because I'm trying to limit liquid. Number one, because you have to put them in those little bags, and number two, because I don't want it spilling everywhere. So they're great, they're accessible, they're in the side pocket. Things get knocked on the floor, you need to wipe hands, you're in the toilets or in the lavatories or the loos, whatever you call it. They're great, they're in one side. In the other side pocket is one of her cups, empty obviously because of the liquid policy. Now I won't really talk too much about these because they're kind of irrelevant, but they'll be in my toddler favourites. Favourite things I've loved about toddlers, which I will do probably at the end of the year, are these Camelbaks. Now trust me, I have tried every cup, sippy cup, this cup, that cup, in cup, that cup. I don't think Camelbak can be beaten, and I would lay money on it. They're fantastic, but I'll go into more depth about why I love them so much in another video. And that's in the side pocket, so once we're through security I can go and get some liquid because my girl can't be without a drink for very long. Next, inside the more slightly fun bit, little Elle is pretty much potty trained. Here, there, comme ci, comme ça. But I always put her in a pull-up or a diaper when we fly because I don't want accidents in the plane. You can't get to the loo when you need if there's a queue. Just potty training hell. So on this occasion, she'll be in a pull-up. I always carry some spares. I knew for infancy, there was someone who always told me the rule of 1 diaper per hour of the flight, plus 1 or 2. So I used to carry a lot, whereas here I've probably got 3 or 4. I've got some diaper cream, and I carry it in one of these bags, which are great for wet clothes if necessary. So let me put that down there. The greatest gift to parenting. Some of you will not agree with me, but I'm afraid. The greatest gift to parenting when on a flight, or in a tight space, or a place where you need your child to be quiet and to concentrate, is the Holy Tablet. This is an iPad, an old iPad of ours that we've designated to her. We do limit how much she watches it before I get in trouble with some people maybe watching this, but it's a godsend. And on a flight, whoa, and on a flight it's great. I love this case. It's by Newstyle. I bought it from Amazon. It's got a handle, it's pink, it's droppable, smashable, everythingable. This will keep her entertained through apps, through a movie, through TV shows, well, you name it. But she won't have it the whole flight, won't entertain her the whole time, but it's great to have one. I know it's a luxury, but it's a luxury worth investing in if you can afford to. Related to that, if you just bear with me, are these. If you can see, these are headphones. Now I like my little one to have kid-size headphones, and these are great for a variety of reasons. I like them because they're kid appropriate, they fit the ear properly. I also know they belong to her and they are her germs and not, you don't know where they've been. Anyway, they're Tigers, she chose them. The most important reason I love these is because the sound of them cannot go above what's appropriate for a toddler's hearing. So, you know, sometimes the headphones can go pretty loud and it can cause damage to children's hearing. So these, however loud she pushes it up, they can't go, you know, above what's appropriate or what's designated for children of her age and what she should and shouldn't be hearing. So these are super. I think I bought these from Amazon. I will look them up, or something very similar. They weren't horrendously expensive. Another thing I have attached to these is I think something I bought at the airport, which is what I call a Y tag. I'm sure there's a much better explanation. You attach their headphones and you can attach your headphones or your partner's husband or your wife or whoever's headphones or another child's headphones as a jack, really, so you both can watch the same thing at the same time if that's what you want to do. If you've only got one iPad part, for example, you can put it in front of 2 children and they can watch the same thing but still have their own independence. Or if you're a parent and you just want to check into what they're watching on anything, on, you know, even on the plane screen, or you want to watch the same movie, I really recommend these. Again, not very expensive, but a great thing for travel. If you have toddlers, or your toddler's anything like mine, you'll know the importance of snackies. Trust me, I have more than just this. I have a pocket full of snackies. In fact, I have them in the front, so they're easy to grab because my child, snackies, loves her snackies. So, you know, and it's bound to be when you can't get your hands on anything else. So I always have emergency supplies. Also in the front I have this little thing. She's obsessed with Paw Patrol. This is a toy that she's not had before. I got it, it's very, very inexpensive. I got it at one of the local stores. Something to keep her entertained, something that, you know, in the queue, in line or in queue, she can play with along the sides, and she hasn't had it before. There's a novelty factor to it. I picked this up from like the Dollar Tree section or something like that from Target. It's a Paw Patrol puzzle. It's fantastic, keep her entertained if your iPad doesn't. The other important thing to do is I also pack in mine not just for the flight, but things to keep her entertained throughout the holiday. You know, if you're in and out of hotels, you're staying with people, you're in and out of a car, whatever the thing is that you're doing, it's important to keep them stimulated and entertained, and I like to have a variety of options for her. These are great. They're great for toddlers. They're a little complex. They're 24 pieces, but it does keep them thinking, and they do them in a variety of cartoons. So whatever your little one likes, they're bound to do one for. And again, when you've paid such little money for them, you can just trash this or bin it on the return. Keeping up on that subject of important things that kids love. To keep them entertained. You know, I've talked before about my toddler summer favourites. I always have one or two of these on hand. The Play Pack Grab and Goes, fantastic. Always have them in two separate cartoon styles. I've packed some in her case. They're great for restaurants, great for the car, great for, you name it, they're great. And they're $1 or, you know, £1, whatever. I've also packed some stickers. Stickers are great for flights. These are Halloween princess ones, but they do loads of different ones. These are great. Kids just love to stick them and peel them off, stick them, peel them off, stick them, peel off. I haven't packed these for her, but I know people who use them. They're not stickers, but you know the gel-like things you can put on windows. If you know your toddler's in a window seat, you could use something similar like that. I know they do a lot of them at the moment with Halloween coming up that say Happy Halloween. Just kids love that ability just to pull things off and stick them back, pull them off, stick them back. This is all about things that are cheap, easy, quick, and keep them entertained for ages. Stickers, way to go. What else do I have? She loves these little people. I don't really know why. These have a multitude of uses. She likes to imagine with them and play on the tray table, but these can also double up as bath toys. So I'm all about things that can double up. Another really useful tip I find that might be useful for you is to put these things in Ziploc bags, name what they are and put how many pieces they are, and if you want you can label. So for example, I've put here little people, I've said there's 6 pieces and I've labelled who they are, but there's 6. So if it's you, a partner or someone else or a guest, they know exactly how many you have to go back in the bag. You're not losing stuff because you do want to limit losing as much as possible. And these are not really expensive, but she would be devastated to lose them. So I know 6 went in, 6 came out, and I keep that bag for the whole trip. I hope I'm not talking too fast. I probably am. More snacky knackies. These are fantastic. If you haven't seen these are disposable placemats. These are great for the tray on the flight, but they're great when you're on vacation. These are Sophia the first ones. I don't know if you can see in that picture, that gorgeous little girl. Basically, they're adhesive and you just stick them down and, you know, your kid eats and you can rip them up and put them in the trash. They're great. It also stops my kid drawing or colouring on tables and things. She's not bad at that, but you know what kids get like when they get bored. So these again, these are brilliant. Great for a vacation. Again, along the same lines as the sticker idea, plasters or band-aids, as Americans call them, work the same way. She loves frozen ones. Another thing is always to have a good colouring book. I picked a load of colouring books up, but I'm only carrying one. This one's a Dan Dan Tiger one. I picked this up from $1 in the dollar section. That goes along with this is these Crayola crayons, which again, I put in a Ziploc with the amount of crayons that are in there so that I know roughly. The other really important tip if you're traveling one is these are triangular. I don't know if you can even see that. These are triangular ones. They're not the round ones. I urge you to invest in these because, trust me, when you're in your fantasy world of sipping a gin and tonic, you don't want to spend your whole time rolling down and picking up, rolling down and picking up, rolling down and picking up the ones that roll off the trays. These do not. They're triangular. They can't roll off surfaces. These are fabulous. So that's colouring covered. And again, they can colour throughout the trip. Another important item, of course, me bending down, is a change of clothing. I always have a change in clothing, not just because I'm potty training, accidents happen, you hit some turbulence, everything goes everywhere, they don't feel very well. These things happen. So I have a change of clothing, and I always have 2 different tops because tops for her seem to get more filthy. So I've got 2 different tops and a change of bottom. Also, I always carry a change of top for myself. That's very important. And then what else do I have? Finally, I think I carry a selection of magazines. Now these are relatively inexpensive. What's fantastic is they contain some stories, they contain stickers, they contain craft ideas, they contain things to keep her occupied. Particularly for her age, there's a Disney Junior one here, Disney Princess, Peppa Pig and Friends. So I'll probably let her have 2 on the way out, 2 on the way back. I also do that, if I showed you earlier in the pocket, the little gift, I had bought 2 of those, one for the flight out, one for the flight back. Really not expensive things to purchase, but have a great way of keeping toddlers entertained for as long as they can be. And so I think that's pretty much what I carry in my hand luggage for her. And that, I go on, goodness me, I go on the flight feeling as relaxed as I can, that I am carrying all I can to try and keep her as entertained and contained as possible. Trust me, we've all been there. They don't feel well, they don't like the flight, there's pressure in their ears, they're not comfortable, they cry the whole flight. Listen, we've all been there. You know, and if people can't be sympathetic to that, well, no comment. So another thing I always carry on my person, because she doesn't have a liquid bag, is I always carry a, I don't know why I'm really showing you this, a small travel size version of children's Motrin or Calpol for the UK people. I like to always have it at hand, just in case she's got some issues with her ears or uncomfortable. It always helps. Or in case there's another mum on the flight who isn't as experienced or has forgotten or it's smashed, or because, hey, we parents have all got to help each other out. So that's what's going with in little Elle's backpack. That's probably what will be going with her, a variation of a very similar kind of amount wherever we travel, if we travel internationally or we stay here. What I also wanted to show you was just 1 or 2 other things that won't be coming on our trip, on our near trip with us, but some other things that have worked briefly. I wanted to show you this. This tends to go on our longer haul flights, or if we're taking a holiday or a vacation which is beach related, or something where it's a lot of hotels and more relaxed time. I also think it would work well if you have a younger sibling that's napping and you want to keep your child contained or entertained rather than just watching TV during the time. This is this one. It's a file kind of thing with a zip round. Now I'm not quite sure the state of it. I should have checked that before. But when you unzip it, inside, this is going to be quite difficult for me to show without spilling everything everywhere. Inside is some pockets that clip in that contain activities for them to do. So for example, I have one here, I'm trying to hold it up, that contains pegs, painted pegs, which relate to colours on the sheet, and then they have to peg the pegs to the right colour. That's one idea. Another one's here with numbers and colours and sorting these little balls of fluff sort of things, cotton things, into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then into colours. That's a great one. Fuzzy felt, if you remember that back in day, I loved fuzzy felt. There are a few things missing from here. Here's another one. I have some flashcard type things with animals and letters. I have another thing which is missing, is these pipe cleaners. And you know, if you buy like McCormack spice jars, once they've run out, you can sort of, this is a great way to keep young toddlers entertained. They have to stick them in and out, a bit like they do in a colander if you watch Pinterest. That's another great one for keeping them entertained. She also loved these, which I made, which were like long pieces of like foam, and then I just put Velcro ends on each and she could build things with them. Another thing here is just colourful shapes that she could paint and glitter on. They're not paint, but colour and glitter on. Lots of different ideas. If you go on Pinterest, there's loads. I can do more of a if you're interested, I can do a more in-depth video on this. This is things I've certainly used in the last 18 months with her, which she's loved. I'll probably give it a bit of an overhaul and update for Christmas time for her, or when we travel again, particularly, you know, long haul flights. They get bored easily. Sorry, that's the zip. It's a satisfying sound, that zipping. So that's a great idea. Keeps them entertained in hotel rooms too. And finally, I wanted to share one of these, which I particularly loved when she was an infant. It's not ideal for flying at the moment because she needs to be entertained more, but particularly for car journeys. This is a Bobo Buddy, and this I remember watching many, many years ago on the UK equivalent of Shark Tank, Dragon's Den. And these are animal rucksacks like this. And in the back, in the little zip in the back, they have the cutest, softest blanket. I'm showing you this like this. And then this can be used like a pillow. This is great if you're driving long distance, because they can, and then if you're using it throughout the holiday and you don't need this blanket, oh gosh, and you don't need this blanket, you can put their little things in and they can just carry it, and it's terribly soft and lightweight. They can be machine washed. They come in a variety of animals. They have a story attached to them. They are so adorable. They're gorgeous. So I highly recommend those too. When we're on long car journeys, he certainly comes. She loves to cuddle up to him. So that's it, folks. I hope I had some interesting ideas that might be useful for you for when you go traveling with your little ones. Is there anything I have missed off that you think has worked well for you that I should be thinking of? Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video and it's been informative for you, please do subscribe. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Ta-ta for now.